You've waited a lifetime to look better and feel better, and now here's your chance. Fitness Friday on WNDB. Call 239-0033 and have your questions answered on health, fitness, and a better life. Fitness Friday is brought to you by Bodez by Tasso & Company, 1140 West Granada Boulevard in Ormond Beach. And now, here's your host, Tasso Kyriakis.
All right, welcome to Fitness Friday. This is a great day to be alive.
I'm so happy you're here.
I've survived everything. The Greek Festival, the Dancing with the Stars. And so I'm off on a new journey now.
All this other tribulation in your life.
Back to the real journey that I'm supposed to be on, which is helping people get fit and feel great about themselves.
Without killing yourself, doing it.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen. But well, Dave, I wanted to talk today. You know, we've had some great shows. We've had a relationship with Love Whole Foods. We have our relationship with Dr. Fahn, which this is the third Friday of every month. Oh. So Dr. Fahn will be here with one of his clients, and we'll talk about their experience with acupuncture and opening people's minds to the aspect of getting acupuncture and getting results from it. And the other aspect I want to talk about is, the other day I had an interesting conversation with a person, and it was, why is Bodez different? You know, we sit and we talk about the different things we do, and there's some things that people probably don't understand because, you know, basically people think every fitness center is the same. They think that the $10 club is going to give them the same that Bodez is going to give them, or the Y is going to give them, or Gold's is going to give them, or the 24-hour fitness center is going to give them. So when we look at that, I look at it from a perspective of, I want to distinguish who Bodez is and why it is different than other fitness centers, and why it is the choice that you would want to make if you're serious about your health and fitness, if you want to change your life, if you want to go in a direction that you feel you need some support, you need some supervision. If you know what you're doing and you have a game plan, you're going to go to any fitness center and probably experience great results. What we do at Bodez Personalized Fitness is have a unique selling proposition to you that says we're here with a specific game plan, a specific philosophy, and a way to continually improve your life. So let's first start with the 4 reasons that people do not succeed when they join a health club.
All right.
Okay, number 1 is that they really don't have a game plan, so to speak. They don't walk in the door and say, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this is how I'm going to eat. They don't have that game plan, okay? They don't have a system that's been successful, and that now some people will read a book and try and pick, and this is one of the problems we run into in really from our diet industry to our workout industry. We try to couple in lots of workouts. We try and couple in lots of different philosophies. We try to, you know, you might eat by the South Beach diet for a while, and then your friend goes on the cabbage diet, and you decide that you're going to go on that because they lost 5 pounds. Yeah, okay, right. So we don't have a consistent set game plan. So we're not going to have results, and that consistent game plan has to be a success system that's worked over and over. You know, I've been in this industry since 1979, and I've owned my own health centers, my own health fitness program since 1987, and the philosophy has changed very little. I mean, you could probably identify the change. You know, when I first started, there was nothing but the Nautilus machines in my room, and that was partially because that's my core belief, is that resistance training can accommodate strength training and cardiopulmonary fitness as well. And we've proved that over and over again. Now, the thing that may not be desirable about that is the intensity or pace with which you have to move through those machines to make that happen. But really, in the early years, that's all we really did was train in that type of fashion, large muscle groups to small. Now, as we began to work with bigger populations of people, we understood we had to change that game plan. The second reason people aren't successful in fitness centers is this. Number 2 is that they get hurt because they come in and they want to work out to say that they work out, you know, and you have to ask yourself this question: is your goal to improve your fitness or to work out a lot? Because they're not one and the same. You know, there are fitness centers that what they promote to you is that you indeed should be working out 6 days a week. You should be to every class we offer. You should be to on every machine we offer. Well, depending on medical history, physical history, and what the body can accommodate and recover from, that sets that individual up for a risk of injury. So the second part is that people get injured either because they use the wrong exercises, they use the machines or the exercise incorrectly, or they do too much, which doesn't allow the body to adapt. The third reason that people don't don't have success at fitness centers is because they get bored with their programs. And I would contend to you that they get bored with their programs because they lack, again, the design, and they lack intensity that produces results. If you were to walk into a fitness center and they would take the four corners of the room and they would say, go in that corner and do this exercise. 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 And that produced results that you wanted to see in the mirror and how you felt. You'd never become bored with that program. You would do it probably harder, maybe more frequently. You wouldn't be tired of the program because it was producing results. Mm-hmm. Okay? But the thing is that when people go in and they don't challenge themselves and they don't work in a system, they don't receive the results. Or they don't bring that synergy that we've talked so much about. That synergy which says, hey, there's three components to how we can make you successful in your fitness program. Number one is by getting you to eat better, make better food choices, eat in a better style. Okay? That's one. Okay? That's the first part of it. Second part of it is let's pay attention to your muscle. Let's make sure that we're strength training you to make you stronger. Whether that strength training is kettlebells, boot camp, whether you do calisthenics, our one-on-one, our medics equipment, our Nautilus equipment, our hammer equipment, our free equipment. You're doing strength training to accommodate your muscle. The third one is to pay attention to your cardiovascular fitness and put some energy towards it. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to do 6 days a week of cardiovascular fitness. It means you want to make it an efficient program. So, again, we come back to not getting bored with the program has to produce results so you don't get bored. And then being able to have the flexibility to create and to adjust your program so you're successful, that all has to do with overcoming that. The fourth one is that people perceive that there's no one there that cares. There's no one that's going to miss you if you don't show up for a fitness workout. There's no one that's going to be there to push you along a little bit. So those are the four things. Number one, people get hurt. Number two, they don't have a system that can produce the success they want. Number three, they get injured because of I already said that one. Sorry. They get bored with their program because they're not getting results. And number four is no one's there.
No accountability.
No accountability. So we take care of that at 2 of our 3 levels of membership at Bodez. Now, the first differentiation point of Bodez Personalized Fitness to everybody else that's out there is there are no commercial clubs that I know about in this area that you walk in, other than us, that gives you a specific game plan for how you should be working out. In other words, we have people come in and do their own thing. Right. But the majority of people that come to Bodez and join Bodez come and say, I need help. Yeah. I want you to work with me. I want you to inspire me. I want you to show me how I can change my body. Okay? From there, it becomes what they're willing to invest from the standpoint of, do they want a one-on-one training program? Is someone waiting for them by appointment every time they work out? Or is it they're going to come in on their own? Is someone waiting to service them when they show up? And we do the best we can at calling those people to make sure they keep showing up. And I say that because I want to be honest with people. I don't want to tell you that, oh yeah, for your $50 a month, we're going to call you if you don't show up, because that's a physical impossibility to do when you have several hundred members working out.
Right.
We do it on a system. We do get phone calls made to people, but it is not, to be quite honest with you, it's not where I would like it to be.
I remember those phone calls.
Yeah,
and you've heard every excuse in the book.
I have. I wish I'd have started writing them down a long time ago, because I've heard some doozies through the years. So we have a unique training philosophy that says, look, we're going to train by knowledge training principles. We're going to train large muscle groups to small. Okay? Now, do you have to follow that system? If you're in our body coach system, yes, you do, because in body coach, we're setting your weights and your seat heights. You have a personal trainer, so to speak, but I prefer to call him a fitness coach or a traffic cop, because he or she are not laying over you going, come on, push that extra rep. Why didn't you show up at 9 o'clock? You know, those type of things. That person is there to make sure that those machines are free, available, set properly, and you know what your system is to follow that day. Dave, you're going to come in, you're going to go to machine 1, 2, 6, 9, 11, 14, 21, and 23 today. That's going to be your program. Work as hard as you can on each of those machines. Dave, I see you're not pushing that with good form. That kind of coaching comes in that gives you a bit of accountability. Now, in the one-on-one program, you walk in, there's a folder there. It has your game plan, it has your results, has your goals, has your starting numbers, so we can measure and we can move you through the process to be successful. That's one of the big differentiation points of Bodez Personalized Fitness. The second one, I think, is that if you look at people that apply the research that's out there to get people results from the standpoint of fitness, a concept that we are now calling burst training, okay? What a lot of health clubs will call interval training. They utilize that philosophy because it's very hot right now, to have that interval of hard work and fast work and high intensity for a brief period of time. Unfortunately, in most cases, that brief period of time is on conventional cardiovascular equipment. It lasts 20, 30, 40 seconds. So it doesn't really cause the intensity that needs to occur.
We used to call it, when I was in high school running on track, wind sprints. We'd run wind sprints, and then you'd go fast.
But here's the thing, Dave, in this application of philosophy, when you did it, you would do your wind sprint, and then you would rest, walk a ways, and wind sprint again, okay? In ours, because we have the technology and we have the machines, what we can do with it is we can say, listen, we're going to put a heart rate monitor on you. We're going to monitor the level that you're at from a standpoint of when you're working. We're going to look at that heart rate and say, hey, we're going to keep you in your fat burning zone. And then we're going to burst through that fat burning zone into the zone that burns higher calories per minute. I mean, we have people that are burning 60 to 70 to 75 calories per minute with this burst training. Well, when you do that, not only do you burn those calories, but you now create a deficit where the body has to go back and it has to, what's the word I want to say? It has to replenish. It has to replenish the blood glycogen, or the muscle glycogen that's been depleted by that intensity level, because you're not doing aerobic exercise at that point. So now you're taking a very high calorie per minute burn and you're putting it with a very steady state burning of fat. Now, does it burn more or less fat at that time? Probably doesn't. It's about the number of calories that you're burning, because they're trying to create that deficit. So we move away from that. You've got to spend 40 or 50. Can you do that in our fitness center? Absolutely. We have 60 pieces of cardio equipment that serves that very well. But the core philosophy of what we want to work with you on when you work at Bodez by Tosso & Company, and we take care of that third part of our synergy, which is attention to your aerobic fitness, we want to do it in 6 to 12 minute time frames. And we've been exposed to this through the years, Dave, because remember the very first life cycles. What did they bring uniquely to the market of fitness centers when they came out? They number one brought a computerized bike. So they took the old bike that you heard the flywheel and going, and they made it a computer, right? Second thing is they gave us a display that we found out through research that the digital display actually motivated you. Now, what we found out as we did the research on the Life Circuit, when we were part of the Life Circuit system, is that the color changes actually are a step up in motivating you even more, other than the graphics. And then what happened was the feedback that you got. You got, I did this many calories. Well, what the life cycle gave us was an opportunity to show people also interval training, because what was their marketing thing? They were giving you a hill profile. It was a great workout. And Dr. James Rippey, as early as 1983, showed that if you did the bike, a life cycle bike, and you were exercising progressively from level 1 to level 12 over a 12-minute to 18-minute period. Okay, in other words, I will train, I will do this profile of the hill profile or the random hill profile, but I will do that profile, 12 to 18 minutes, and I'll start out at level 1, and I'll end up someday at level 12. That as little as twice a week would improve your cardiovascular fitness. Okay? Well, the core of that, now we've taken that system and put it together. So now here comes the other thing that differentiates Bodez. We don't believe that you need to train every day. We believe some people may want to. We can design that program. The triathletes I have the pleasure of working with, what happens with those guys is they're constantly training. I actually have to encourage the rest cycle for them. I said, okay, listen, today's a hard workout day. Tomorrow you got to rest. You know, and then I peruse the streets as I'm driving around. I see them running every so often. I pull over and say, "You're supposed to be resting today." Right. Then I catch them running. But that, you know, they're maniacal with it, and they fall into a class of people that train called thoroughbreds. They're the people that walk in the door and say to you, "Oh man, I'm in so bad shape. I ran 20 miles today, and I biked a 50-miler, and I swam 2 miles, and wow." Whew, I'm just not in as good a shape. And you want to slap them. You go like, but they're thoroughbreds. See, they know what fitness can do for them. They're pounding to get the benefits of fitness. They're high on that adrenaline rush they get. So that's the thoroughbred. But the people we work are what we call the chrysalists. The chrysalists are the people that they've had multiple failures in their fitness program because they gave up on themselves. You know, we've talked on this radio show about RAS, the reticular activating system. It's the things that we're conscious of. One day we realize, boy, I need to lose a little weight, or boy, I need to get healthier, boy, I need to get rid of my diabetes. And then you start to notice these more articles about what the benefits of losing weight are, or what beating your diabetes are. It's like when you buy a new car, you drive off the lot, you think, what a cool car, and you see 6 of them just like it, you know, and you never saw one before. Right. That's your reticular activating system. Now that you also have the EEM, which is your experiential emotional memory, and that's this memory that, hey, I failed at working out before. It hurt. I didn't get my results. Well, that's what we have to overcome with the person who's a chrysalis. Now the chrysalis is the person that really has to be convinced of the benefits of exercise. They've never really benefited, so they could lose weight, gain health. They're in a situation where they are fighting to understand that they can get results from fitness. There's thousands of you out there. We couldn't accommodate all of them into the fitness center, but we continually work to try and bring programs that bring people in. And that's why I want to spend the time today to differentiate why Bodez is so much different than the other clubs. Listen, we have great clubs in this area when it comes to equipment and owners that are nice people and stuff. But I'm telling you, the system that works, the system that puts together the system that makes it easy for you to follow without ridiculous stuff, where you starve yourself or you overwork yourself, it's Bodez by Tasso and Company. And it's because these very things that our system addresses. We looked at the science and said, look, why do people fail in health clubs? Those 4 things. They get hurt, they get bored, they don't get results because they don't have a system, and they don't have anybody that cares. We have a staff that's on the floor all the time for the purpose. Not a staff that's trying to sell you one-on-one. Not a staff that's trying to get a reference for you to bring your friend. A staff that services you from the aspect of your health and fitness goals. The second part of it is that we bring science to the table like nobody else does in this town. With our innovations of the burst training, which now I think it's almost at its apex of our awareness of what we've done with it. We started out, and I failed to mention that we brought in a special type of equipment called SciFit. Well, the SciFit equipment is equipment that has such capabilities. It's been used in the cardiac rehab market is where it predominantly was used. But 7 years ago, we began a journey with Denton Smith and the SciFit company to develop a new efficient kind of cardiovascular training. Imagine that you go out and you run a mile. And if you run that mile,
I imagine that a lot.
If you run a mile in 15 minutes, okay, you burn 100 calories. If you run it in 8 minutes, you burn 100 calories. Well, these bikes and cross trainers that we have, people are burning 137 calories in 6 minutes. Wow. Who can go run a mile and a half in 6 minutes? That benefit to the body, that caloric metabolic expenditure is what you get when you put the science to it of how to do it properly. And that's something that Bodez does uniquely. No one that I know of has anything like that, the SciFit equipment or the philosophy towards cardiovascular fitness. I know there's some people out there doing the burst training as what they call interval training. You know, you mentioned you did it. You'd
did it for years.
You'd be running and then you'd sprint. This is put in an organized manner where we monitor it and that. The other aspect is putting the technology. Putting the technology to be able, when a person comes into one-on-one, taking and doing their measurements and saying, look, Dave, here's your objective numbers. You told me you wanted to look like this. Well, I think that means you got to get down to this percentage by. You can look at it. You can see where you are on your journey. You can see when you slip. You can see when you gain. It also serves as a motivator that, hey, I'm working really hard. I only lost this much body fat or this much weight. Well, let's talk about that eating, because remember, the synergy Bodez presents that synergy. The three things of the synergy equation are good food and good eating. You don't starve yourself. You are the creator of your metabolism. Too many people are going out to lose weight, and they're taking in 500, 600, 700. Now, we have programs to do that. We prefer not to because they're not the long-term answer. They're not what's going to get you to your weight and keep you at that weight and keep you healthy. So we have the eating program. The second thing is having a cardiovascular equipment program that keeps people feeling comfortable about what their progress and how they're moving. And the final one is attention to your muscle. Now, you know, I just danced in Dancing with the Stars, and during the course of that, we were doing a little bit of fundraising. We had two of our wonderful members, actually I think three of our wonderful members, win tickets and be able to come to the Dancing with the Stars event because we were charging extra for the program, the Zumba program, and we took them, and they got to come to it because they had participated classes, and we just, every time you participated, we had a little raffle, we pulled out a name. You know, my instructor, Annie Hawkins, did it. We're trying to find another instructor now, and come December, we will start that. Now, I'm supposed to spend a little time telling you about Zumba. Okay, and why I want Zumba there, because I'm accused too many times of, even my front desk staff, little Catalina at the front desk goes, well, you just sort of blow over it and people don't think you're real serious about it. Listen, you're not going to see me in the Zumba class. It's not what I do. Okay?
So I thought Zumba was a dish at an Italian restaurant menu. You have a bowl of Zumba?
No. Zumba is a Latin flair to the dancing. It's very fun for people to do.
Right.
It's a 60-minute class, 45 to 60-minute class. You get to move in all directions. Now, this is why I like it, okay? I like it because what it does is it gets you moving. It gets you moving in planes of movement. In other words, we don't just move up or down, forward or back. We move through different ranges of motion as we work, okay? So in order to keep that body healthy and limber and flexible, what I learned from my dance experience was that if I danced and I worked hard at my dance, I continually increased my range of motion. Well, something I've always sort of instinctively and intuitively known, that if I work through the space and I work in a lot of different ways, I'm going to get better range of motion and I'm going to be less likely to get injured. Well, that's what we learned from dance. Well, that's now taken into this. Now when you do Zumba, the big thing is just like we have always talked about group exercise. It's fun. It's social, it's fun, and it's a workout where you don't realize you're working out. And that's why we understand that one of the weaknesses, if there's a weakness, we talked about the strength of body, if there's a weakness, we don't have a group exercise program. It's not because I don't like group exercise. Dave, you've been with me. You remember, I'm the first guy to bring step here. I'm the first guy to bring body pump, body flow, body attack. First person to bring spinning in. Okay, I was the first person to do that. Why did I take those out? Because I read a book called Good to Great. And it said, do what you do best, do what you can have the most effect on the consumer with, and do it better than anybody else. And that's what we did. We understood that weight loss and strength training was what we did better than anybody else. And at the same time, we also needed some space for our weight loss program. So we took our space that we used to do group exercise in, we put our one-on-one program into there. Okay, maybe not the best business decision, but philosophically it was the right decision to be able to focus on what we do. Because since we've done that, we've developed the burst training now. We've developed the Beyond Organic eating scheme. We've developed the Take Shape for Life eating scheme and the Take It Off eating scheme. So we've been able to focus on the things that are products. Now, this is a fun thing that we're contracting out people to come in to teach it. So we're getting Zumba instructors that are going to offer classes, and the ones that are really good you'll want to go to, and you'll pay your $5 or $10 for it. It's going to be $5 for members, $10 for non-members to go to the class. And that way they get to have the involvement in a class that's fun, it's group exercise, it gets you moving. And so many people love that. Listen, is there anything better to move to than music? No. So, all right. So, Dave, I know that Dr. Fahn's out.
He's got a whole group of people out there.
He's got Dr. Price with him today.
Yeah.
So
we'll do some water skiing here today.
All right. Well, listen, what we're going to do is we're going to go to break while Dr. Fahn and the troops come in, and we get ready to talk about the benefits and overcoming that hurdle of doing acupuncture.
Do you have a problem with auto repairs? Honest mechanics, professional service, and same-day service? All of these problems are solved when you visit Michael & Sons at British American Auto Repairs. Michael and his knowledgeable staff will repair any problem your car may have. Service your engine, check your brakes, tune-ups, air conditioning, timing belts, radiators, you name it. Muscle car, import car, your everyday car. Located at 241 South Palmetto Avenue at the corner of Ivy Lane in downtown Daytona Beach, British American Auto Repairs for over 28 years has been voted best around by you. Call 253-2832. That's 253-2832. Or stop in Monday through Friday, 7:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. Ask for your free coupon valued up to $50 off any service. That's Michael & Sons British American Auto Repairs, your American and import specialist.
The ability to remain anonymous is the answer to the incredible success of Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida.
Staying anonymous combats the three major problems faced by law enforcement in generating tips on crime. Number 1, fear of reprisal. Number 2, an attitude of apathy. And number 3, reluctance to get involved.
During the past year, almost 3,000 tips to Crime Stoppers has resulted in over 250 arrests, resulting in the recovery of property of over $1,100,000, with drugs valued over $300,000 taken off the streets and out of our communities. Rewards of almost $20,000 have been awarded to tipsters.
The rewards are not paid from tax dollars either, but instead, rewards are generated by contributions from private citizens, social and civic groups, and businesses. Crime Stoppers of Northeast Florida, helping our community and law enforcement solve crime through citizen participation.
Text us at tip 231 plus your message to Crimes on the web at WeStopCrime.com or 1-800-277-TIPS. That's 1-800-277-8477.
'Tis the season to be merry. What could be better than a free holiday party with food and DJ? Go to 1150 WNDB's Facebook page and look for DJ Tony V's song selection. Listen to Daytona's Morning News on WNDB and your chance to call in to win. It's fabulous food from River Grill on the Tomoka, sweet desserts from Sweet Marley's, and the party tunes of DJ Tony V. A free holiday party for up to 20? Sure. Thanks to DJ Tony V and WNDB.
Call 239-0033 for Fitness Friday and your host, Tasso Kyriakis. Here's Tasso.
All right, welcome back to Fitness Friday. And we're in with the third Friday of every month. That means Dr. Fahn's in the house. Dr. Fahn, welcome. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Excellent.
So I have survived Dancing with the Stars because of your care for me. I was able to keep my knees working, and so now we moved back to my old stress reduction treatments and stuff. Someone said to me, "Why do you always go to Dr. Fahn?" I said, every time I call you, "You're off at Dr. Fahn's." I said, "Well, I've been going a lot more often lately because my knees were bothering me from so much dancing." I said, I flared them up. I said, and but I always go on Thursday or Fridays for stress reduction so I can enjoy my weekend. So I'm going to tell you before we even get started today that the number one thing I think you should be doing is going to see Dr. Fahn so you can enjoy your weekend by getting stress relief and being able to enjoy what you're going to do over the weekend. Now, you brought two young ladies in today that have very different problems. So one is Mrs. Dr. Price, is the wife. And Ms. Price, what is your first name?
Artist.
Artist?
Like
Okay.
an artist without.
Okay, you got to talk in. There you go.
Artist with, like an artist without the T on the end.
Okay, artist. Okay, artist. You had. We're gonna come back and talk about this, but you had a gum infection that was causing you some pain, right?
Yes, it was very painful, and I went on antibiotics, and my gums healed, but I still had a lot of pain. I couldn't chew or eat anything hot, and after several treatments with Dr. Fahn, the pain went away, and now I can chew and eat hot soup.
Okay. Well, we're gonna get a little more into you because, artist, you also have the distinction of being one of the world's top skiers, right? And
I try. Yes.
Well, you don't try. You've got. Some people have the preference and some people have the references. You got the references because we know what you and your husband have accomplished, and you're a national champion, correct?
A current one, yes.
You're a current. And how old are you, so people know? Because I know you're sort of proud of that, right? It's not supposed to ask women their age, but
83.
83, and you're still
83.
and you're
Wow.
still out water skiing. So all you people are sitting there going, "Oh, I'm too old to exercise." Yeah, well, there we go. That just got blown away for you. Joan, tell us a little bit about your situation. You went to Dr. Fahn for
I did, for trigeminal neuralgia, which is an irritation of the trigeminal nerve, which is the largest nerve in the cranial system, and it's the number 5. And the pain came from nowhere. It was about 4 years ago. I was working as an RN, and it's like an electric, horrible, excruciating stab that comes into your, in my case, lower jaw. And you never know when it's going to come. So eating, talking, brushing your teeth, taking a shower, touching the side of your face, anything can trigger it. And it's just the worst pain I've ever had in my life. Went for an MRI, found fortunately it was not a lesion, it was just a pain that occurred in that nerve from an irritation. No one is quite sure why, but it had a terrible effect on my life. Went to the traditional neurologist, got medication, took large amount of medication. The particular medication I was taking just about destroyed my liver, so I had to go away from the medication, start another one, which by increasing the dosage did reduce the pain. I was on maintenance medication for 4 years.
and did that medication have side effects to it?
For me, it did not, fortunately. The side effects from that medication are weight gain, water retention, and somnolence. So I was always cautious with driving because I didn't know if it was going to just gain and make me not good on the road, if I was going to become fatigued, become tired. So I was always cautious while taking the drug. And then about 6 months ago, the pain just came back with a vengeance, for no reason, sitting on the couch. And the thing just, I mean, when I have these pains, it's to the point where my husband and I don't even communicate because he knows it hurts me to talk.
Right.
So we're sitting next to each other, and I can see the pain in his face, not being able to speak to me, knowing that it's going to cause me pain.
Well, and you said when you first came in, it took away 2 of the things you love to do most.
Oh, yes.
Talk and eat.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And all those people that
Yeah.
use the excuses that they're too old to exercise, the
Yeah.
artist is going to take care of.
That's going to take care of that one.
You're in trouble.
Talking
with that,
and eating.
there
Well,
you go.
but now, now that I was working, I retired about 1.5 years ago. I was a very active RN, working like 12 hours a day, and I'd be on the phone with a patient and suddenly just go, and couldn't talk anymore. It just had to stay that way. But I've remained active. Now I found Dr. Fahn. I am geared into
I get to do the interview, Joan.
Western medicine. Okay. Western medicine.
Okay, let me come back for a minute because
Go.
I'm going to do that, okay?
You can tell I like to talk.
I already picked up that. I know, you like to talk. Dave, turn her mic off. That's
Yeah, don't do that. Don't do
All right,
that.
so to both of you, artists, tell us how because you're married to a physician, right?
Yes.
So tell us how you came to break through the barrier that most people have of going to an Eastern philosophy, an alternative medicine that we sort of think is so mystical, something mystical about it, that now all of us have the experience of knowing that there's a lot more to it. How did you make your jump to going to see Dr. Fahn? How did that come for you?
Well, I believe in trying anything that's natural and avoiding drugs and things like that. And we went to one of Dr. Fahn's lectures and heard some of the testimonials and were very impressed with that and decided to try it. And it's wonderful because it's painless and you get such wonderful response. I had an injury this summer from water skiing. My ski came off and pulled my leg, and I had the nationals coming up, and I was worried whether I'd be able to ski or not. So Dr. Fahn gave me a number of treatments, and the pain went away, and I was able to ski and win.
Congratulations, right?
Absolutely
So
amazing.
we're basically seeing that you have it on 2 levels. Most people tend to try and put acupuncture in a box, and you actually have it on 2 levels. You have the infection that that was overcome without using the antibiotics and the traditional way of going after it and building the immune system. And then we also have the physical soft tissue or joint injury that Dr. Fon, because he's excellent. What people don't realize is how excellent he is for short-term trauma injuries. When I have an athlete hurt his ankle or something, I get them right to Dr. Fon, and they're right back on their field of competition. So you have it from two angles. We're going to come back to you. Joan,
Yes.
how did you get to Dr. Fon? Because now you're an RN. You're in the middle of all those MDs.
I am. And when when Mrs. Price said that you said she was married to a doctor, they always joked that my daytime husband was the doctor I worked with. My nighttime husband was my doctor, because we spent really more time together, closer relationship than we enjoyed with our spouses. But when this came back and I was taking the medication and titrating it up to all kinds of high levels and just at my wits' ends, I heard Dr. Font on your show. And I was driving down Granada and thought, I really don't have much to lose. I think I'm just going to call him, make an appointment, and pull in. And that's what I did.
And so you now come from the other angle that I like to tell people is that you're eventually going to go to him when you hurt so much. You're just not gonna go try anything.
I never considered it before.
Right.
It was something that it was beyond my educational realm. I had never experienced it. I never knew anyone who had taken acupuncture or had acupuncture, and I had no knowledge of it. And knowledge is powerful.
So being educated in as an RN. You learned everything we need to learn. I mean, Dr. Fon learned the same things that you and I would in the Western education because I was pre-med when I was in college. We learned that same thing. He took the same organic chemistry. He took the same biochemistry. He took the same physical chemistry to do what he did. So now the second question I always like to ask people is this. You went with specific problems. Did you see what I call systemic effects? Did you see overflow things that occur? Like, the examples would be you slept better, your temperament was better, your blood pressure dropped. Was there anything like that you guys saw? Joan, did you see anything like that was sort of an overflow kind of thing? The pain went away and, wow, now I notice I have more flexibility or anything of that nature?
Absolutely. I mean, I am now doing line dancing 3 days a week, a couple of nights a week. I'm doing stretching exercises. I'm active all the time. I go to curves. I'm able to do those things. And before I shied away from it, not physically so much as emotionally, and I just wasn't able to cope with not being able to interact with the people.
Right.
So now I'm out there.
So Joan, don't say that I do line dancing too loud, because there's a guy walking around the studio here who'll have you dancing with the stars before you know it.
Cool.
So,
That's all right.
You got to watch that guy. So, I don't want to say his name out loud, but his initials are Terry Savaston.
Got to be country.
Okay, artists, tell us a little bit about, have you seen systemic effects other than the pain relief and the infection being knocked down?
Definitely. I always sleep better after I've had an appointment. I think that's very important. And also, I was having trouble with dry eyes, and Dr. Fon worked specifically on my eyes for most of the summer, and it made a lot of difference. My eyes aren't as dry now. I don't have to use eye drops nearly as much, use them once in a while, but it really helped me.
So you alluded to the sleeping better. So here's a question. For all those people out there that go, I don't want to go to acupuncture, it hurts. They have needles. They're putting needles in me, right? For all those people that Dr. Fon calls the needles, micro-healing filaments, but none of us believe that BS. They're needles, right? They're little pokey things. We're not going to get that out of your mind. So tell me, Joan, when you went to Dr. Fon the first time, did you sleep on the table?
I rested beautifully. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
Lights went down low, and the music was very soft. There was water that I heard in the background. There was no pain involved whatsoever. And yes, I did relax.
Okay. And artists, do you sleep in when you're getting your treatments?
It's like a spa treatment. You completely relax and enjoy it. Yeah. I don't know that I really went to sleep, but I could have.
Well, that was my greatest surprise when I went, because number one, I was afraid of needles, and number two is I was sitting there going like, well, I don't know what this is going to be like, and probably 15 minutes into it, I was snoring away, and that shocked me. And that's one thing I want to make sure everybody knows is fairly consistent: the relaxation mode that occurs, and downgrading of inflammation in the body, downgrading of just the stress in the body. Dr. Fon, you have a varying degree here, because you have something that was a nerve disorder. You have a soft tissue injury. We have an infection. here's the scope again of the systemic effect of acupuncture.
Yes, absolutely. Acupuncture is a dynamic. It affects the multiple system. And I think I'm going to just touch a little bit on the autonomic nervous system. Autonomic nervous system, it controls like your heart, your blood vessels, and your organs. But autonomic nervous system, you divide it up, it goes into sympathetic and parasympathetics. So acupuncture, when you had a very stressful day, you activate your sympathetic nervous system. Acupuncture is work on parasympathetic nervous system to balance out, to counteract the sympathetic system. So acupuncture not only help with the physical aspect of the human body, but also internal organs, like Miss Price say about the eyes. She had a dry eye in which I have to reprogram, or I call regulate. You regulate her eye so the normal mucus or nutrient or blood circulate to her eye. So depend on how good you are as an acupuncturist. If you're really good, you can activate immune systems, you can repair tissue, you can balance the structure. If you train for a very long time, you can do a lot of it. You can regulate the body in different ways. But who someone out there had a minimum training, or doesn't have an in-depth training in acupuncture, can bring only minimum benefit but not maximum.
Right. So basically, you're saying the next question I have to ask you is, Dr. Font, do you have enough training to do all those things you're talking about?
Tasso, I have to be honest with you. Even though I'm in the field 25 years, I still have another 25 years of learning. So the body, I read up on the body every day. I'm studying your human body every day. I spend a number of years in, as you know, I complete the pre-med program, but also on the side, I study neuropathology, how the nerve affect different organs. And when I treat, I'm using Western knowledge, modern research with the traditional knowledge, how to heal certain tissue, how to heal certain nerve. So my unique background is very different from other practitioners. Other practitioners might just go straightly from acupuncture school, but I train more dynamic into East and West modality. And I spent extra year in massage school just to learn about muscles.
Right.
And also I went spend a number of years in neuropathology. So I really say that you have to learn your body inside out to be a great acupuncturist.
And now, Dr. Font, I want to go back just a minute to your talking about the sympathetic and parasympathetic systems, because when we just talked at the end of my first segment of the show, I was talking about the burst training and the science that is in effect, and what you're doing mechanically with the acupuncture is the same science that's in effect when I take people through burst training with the SciFit machines as part of their cardiovascular component to their total program. And this is a science that is emerging now that we're just learning about. Now, acupuncture may have known about it for 5,000 years while it's being practiced, but in the world of exercise science, exercise fit, and even the medical industry, we're just learning about this. We're learning that the key to all this is inflammation, and driving down that down-regulating that inflammation, whether it be through your diet, through fasting, whether it be through acupuncture, or whether it be through massage, or whether it be through the way you exercise, we can manage this, which now we begin to manage every risk factor that we possibly can think of from the standpoint of the leading diseases, whether they be cancer. People go like, well, how can cancer be cured by acupuncture, as you've talked about in the past? Well, it's an inflammation process. It's a process where the inflammation gets so bad in the body that the cell can't respond. It can't communicate. So the cell's left with two choices. It either mutates, which is cancer, or it dies. So in your case, you can actually be of an aid to people who have cancer or going through cancer treatment. You spend a lot of time going through the training for that, from that standpoint. So let me come back and ask Joan. Joan, where do you think now acupuncture takes you? What's the next thing you're going to try and conquer with your acupuncture here?
This is probably not the greatest thing I could aim for, but there is a brochure out there on weight control. That would be interesting.
Okay. I know a guy that can help with what he does and what I do. I know a guy. So, And so we can return your curves to your body rather than where you spend your money at. So
Thank you so much.
so you're going to look for weight control, and you're seeing the systemic effect, because Dr. Fon says we're going to reset the system. We're going to balance the system is what we're going to do, and then the system's going to work better from that standpoint, right?
Yeah, balance is such a good word. And I have read up a bit on acupuncture after I started it, which is kind of backwards, but I did it that way anyhow. And the balance is so important in acupuncture. I mean, that's the main thing, the energy and the balance. The qi, I believe it said, and the yin and the yang. And it's just so important to our life, to everything in our life. The energy that we want, the bad energy that we want to get away from, and the balance. It's all about balance.
Tasso,
so there are many ways.
Let me interrupt you 1 second about, keep my thought. The human body, like you say, even though you don't dig deep, but in any organs, the balance is the key. Is we call in chemistry dynamic equilibriums. Okay, because let's say homeostasis. Let's say if your thyroid, the hormone it produced too low, what happened? Is a hypo. Okay,
Right.
it will create a lot of problems, weight gain and other problems. And if your thyroid is overproduced, the thyroid hormone was overproduction, what happened? You have problems. Like your stomach, if you produce too much acid, what happened? You have gastritis. If you have too little acid produced, hydrochloric acid produced, what happened? Indigestions. So you can see a relative, if the humans in a homeostasis, that is when the body had an optimal function. But if you are out of whack, even hormone, estrogen, progesterone, let's testosterone, if you are low, what happened? You act or you think or you behave differently. So to simplify and to help our community understand is acupuncture, it regulates your internal organs, make sure it returns to homeostasis, make sure that's why I have a lot of teachers and nurses come to see me for hot flash or insomnia, because I be able to help. Because what I do is I regulate the internal organ system. So mostly highly educated individuals come to see me for hot flash and hormone. And I hope more people open mind and break the barrier. Like, you're an RN, and Ms. Price is a former teacher, is a wife of physician. Acupuncture, you can add the treatment in. It's a viable option. No matter what medication you take, you can utilize acupuncture in some way to take care of the pain or to improve the function of your body in some way.
Well, and your theme is balance. It balances the overall treatment that you have. I don't think at any point, Dr. Fon, I've heard you say that acupuncture is the greatest thing in the world. It's the only thing you need to do. Just like I say, there's no one single exercise, supplement, or food that is going to change your health of your body. We understand there's a balance, that we have moderation and everything. But what acupuncture does is be able to bring to the forefront an aggressive treatment if necessary, or a complementary treatment if necessary.
Absolutely.
To what people are doing from that standpoint. Now, in the case of Joan, she needed an aggressive treatment because she had a 4-year problem that was being serviced with medication, and the medications didn't work. I don't know the history of the medication. I don't know if you build up a resistance to it or whatever. But we see more and more awareness coming to the pharmaceuticals that people are taking may not be the best solution for them in the long-term situation. Now, Artis, what do you think acupuncture is going to mean to you going forward? Because you still have more national championships you want to win skiing, right? at a young 83 years of age, right?
Well, I'm happy to know that when I take a fall, if I have a problem, I know where to go. That's the main thing. Also, I have been a nutritionist in Harry's office for many years, and I believe in overall health, and I think anything you can do for your overall health is the thing to do, and acupuncture helps you in everything.
Right.
Oh, she forgot to share you about her spine. We spend number of treatment on help her spine to strengthen and balance her spine, so she had more doable during the tournament.
More endurance and durability.
Yeah, more endurance.
So now when did you start skiing?
Not when I didn't start skiing until I met Harry. So I was out of college, and I was a late learner, perhaps, but
It's better than me. I'm a slow learner. I'm still trying to learn. I think I've got 6th grade conquered, though. So now, tell us a little bit about, because again, we go back to one of the things I didn't realize about acupuncture was that acupuncture is huge when it comes to strengthening ligaments and increasing flexibility. When I first went to Dr. Fahn with my hip problem, I barely had 60 degrees range of motion on the back extension machine, my Medix back extension, and I was around 180 pounds is what I was doing on it. In the 5 years since Dr. Fahn, I'm now over 300 pounds on that machine, and I'm the full range 72 degrees that you're supposed to be. So now the combination of my strength training and everything I do along with Dr. Fahn's treatments has increased my range. Did you see those kind of things? Did you see, maybe not in those numbers, but did you see the increase in your flexibility in that?
Definitely. I have a severe scoliosis, which is curvature of the spine, and I have to, my husband treats me almost every day for that too. He does pressure point myotherapy, but
never heard of that. Trigger point myotherapy, myofascial release. Travell, Simons, this guy, another guy, the other Tasso.
But the acupuncture has helped me a great deal too. I wouldn't have been in this year's nationals if I don't think if I hadn't had the treatment. Right. He really helped me with my flexibility.
You know, Tasso, a lot of people don't realize, and Ms. Prybe, I'm glad that you brought it up. If you have scoliosis and spine problem, acupuncture is a great supplement to your health. And you know, think outside the box. And Dr. Prybe's 83, and she willing to explore acupuncture. And if you are young folks who have sport injury, auto injury, and lately I have to tell you, I treat one of the general surgeon from Halifax. He had a severe auto accident, had a brain concussion on his temple, and he had a severe headache. And he come to see me, and I've been doing a great job. And his neurologist say, you got to see Dr. Fahn. He's a good in town. So I'm very happy I have another general surgeon come to my office, and I'm just very fortunate to treat him.
Joan?
Yes.
Party comments to what you would tell people listening today, because you heard this, you heard about Dr. Fahn on the show. What?
I did. Yeah, just to get the word out somehow, and I know that's difficult to do. But when Dr. Fahn just mentioned about the neurologist, I did have the okay and the consent and the approval of my neurologist also, which I would have gone anyhow. But I was very happy that he did give it, because some of the traditional Western physicians just don't see outside the box,
right.
And it is very important.
Okay, artists, anything you tell people out there that are listening that maybe are dealing with some sort of pain or disorder to get them to take that step in Dr. Fahn's door?
Pardon me? I didn't...
Would you, anything you would tell people that are listening to prompt them to go see Dr. Fahn?
Yes, do not be afraid of the needles. Most of them you don't even feel, and if you feel it a little bit, it's just for an instant, and then when you relax, you don't feel them at all.
So the phone number is 615-1203, 615-1203. Dr. Fahn is located in Ormond Beach at 725 West Granada, right next to Loman's Funeral Home. Acupuncture and beauty. We never talk enough about Jen and her pedicures and manicures and stuff that she does, because that's who she's going to talk to, Dr. Fahn, when they call you as your wife. So we need to keep Mama happy so the practice keeps going. So we're coming down to the last minute of Bodez by Tasso and Company and Fitness Friday. I want to remind you that starting in November now, or November, December, as we go into holiday season, you can fight the bulge. You can win that battle. You can not gain weight over the holidays by getting involved in a fitness program that is catered to your needs. We just spent the first half hour of this program talking about why Bodez is different, how to differentiate, how to be successful. So 672-6464. Come give us a call, make an appointment. And next month we will begin, in the month of December, we will begin our seminars on the new science of transforming your health and fitness. Dr. Fahn, thank you very much for joining us with these lovely ladies. Girls, thank you for your testimonies. And 615-1203. Dr. Lorenzo Fahn, located on West Granada, right next to Loman's Funeral Home. Call for a consultation today and experience the relief of great health. Go out and see the high school games tonight. I thought I was done. See?
You jumped the gun.
I jumped the gun.
WNDB, Daytona Beach, first in local news. Fox News updates at the top of every hour. Online at newsdaytonabeach.com.